Coming up on Grady Newsource, celebrations in Israel and Gaza, as Hamas releases living Israeli hostages and Israel sets free hundreds of Palestinian prisoners. In East Athens, a nonprofit is rebuilding a community garden in hopes of revitalizing historic Triangle Plaza. Also, why coffee drinkers are paying more for the same cup of joe. The answer tonight on Grady Newsource.
This is Northeast Georgia's only local source for TV news. From the Grady College of Journalism and Mass Communication, this is Grady Newsource.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Zach Pascuzzi. Welcome to Grady Newsource. We begin with the signing of the first phase of the Gaza ceasefire agreement brokered by the United States. U.S. President Donald Trump and more than 20 world leaders gathered in Egypt today to sign the deal in hopes of bringing an end to the two-year war between Israel and Hamas.
This is the day that people across the region and around the world have been working, striving, hoping, and praying for.
The signing came after Hamas released the remaining 20 living Israeli hostages back to their families. Meanwhile, Israel released nearly 2,000 Palestinian prisoners and detainees. People on both sides erupted in celebration as the news unfolded. Before heading to Egypt, President Trump laid out his desired vision for the war-torn region in a speech at the Israeli parliament.
This is not only the end of a war. This is the end of an age of terror and death and the beginning of the age of faith and hope and of God. It's the start of a grand concord and lasting harmony for Israel and all the nations of what will soon be a truly magnificent region. I believe that so strongly. This is the historic dawn of a new Middle East.
Despite the progress made today, many questions remain about lasting peace in the Middle East, including how Gaza will be rebuilt and how Israel's security will be guaranteed, including the full disarmament of Hamas. This morning, the Arthur M. Blank Family Foundation announced a $50 million scholarship commitment to support students at 4 of Atlanta's historically black colleges and universities. The 10-year scholarship investment is expected to help almost 10,000 students from Clark Atlanta University, Morehouse College, Morris Brown College, and Spelman College graduate. You may notice that many schools and offices around the area are closed for a holiday. Today, October 13, is Columbus Day and Indigenous Peoples Day. Grady Newsource reporters Abby Halpin and Isabella Farina join me now to tell us the real reason today is marked in red in your calendar. So, Isabel, what is the difference between these two holidays and why do we have both?
So that's a great question, Zach, and a lot of people think that these two holidays are distinct and different, or that they have to choose between them, but they really are two separate celebrations that tell different stories.
Abby, what does Columbus Day celebrate?
So, Zach, Columbus Day wasn't originally designed or instated to celebrate its namesake. In fact, in 1892, U.S. President Benjamin Harrison proclaimed it as a way to celebrate Italian Americans and avoid turmoil between the U.S. and Italy.
Isabel, Indigenous Peoples Day is a newer holiday. Today is only the 4th year celebrating it here in Athens. Tell us, what does it celebrate?
Indigenous Peoples Day is all about celebrating the diversity and presence of Native cultures, which still exist here in Athens today.
Abby, why was the holiday made a permanent staple in the U.S.?
So, Zach, like I said, after the celebration of the 400th anniversary of Columbus's arrival in 1892, many cities that were heavily populated by Italian Americans continued celebrating the holiday. And here's more on the origin of what's being celebrated today. As the poem goes, in 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue. And today, Americans mark the anniversary of Christopher Columbus's discovery of the Americas and honor what the Italian explorer accomplished. Vice President of College Republicans says that without Columbus, there's no telling where the Americas would be now.
I would say Columbus Day is just a celebration of a guy who brought the mainstream idea of the existence of the Americas to greater Europe. Without Christopher Columbus, there is no, the European, conquest of the Americas probably would have happened centuries later.
However, Columbus Day was initially established as a one-time diplomatic celebration to heal the severed ties between the United States and Italy after a horrific lynching at a prison in New Orleans in 1891.
If the real story of the first Columbus Day as a celebration of Italian-American immigrants and their descendants, if that had been taught, I think it would be, and sustained, I think it would be really difficult for the politicization and divisiveness around this holiday to happen.
Columbus's home country doesn't have a day designated to celebrate him, but Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni said this morning that Columbus gave the world another world, and he sailed westwards beyond the borders of what was then the known world.
So, now that we've learned all about Columbus Day, let's see what Grady Newsource reporter Isabel Farina learned about Indigenous Peoples Day.
Indigenous Peoples Day celebrates the adversity, history, and contributions that Native people have made to the United States. The holiday was first introduced in Athens in 2021, a city full of Native history. You have probably seen Baldwin Street or Lumpkin Street on campus. UGA founder Abraham Baldwin and Athens resident Wilson Lumpkin played key roles in the disposition of natives. Assistant Director for the Institute of Native American Studies, James Owen, says that two holidays on one day showcases the two different sides of the historical story.
That not just Columbus Day, but other holidays are infused with this mythologized Anglo-Saxon past of America. And that really denies and erases the immeasurable value that all sorts of immigrants and Indigenous Americans have brought to the United States.
Owens also added that some people think that Indigenous Peoples Day is a replacement of Columbus Day.
When President Biden made this a national holiday, Indigenous Peoples Day, alongside Columbus Day, he didn't get rid of Columbus Day.
But it doesn't have to be thought of this way.
In terms of celebrating Italian culture, which a lot of people associate Columbus Day with, I think that's absolutely worth celebrating.
Indigenous Peoples Day is more about celebrating Native presence and culture.
Days like this can help highlight that and can kind of broaden people's horizons in terms of understanding Native presence in the U.S.
Well, thank you both so much, Abigail and Isabel, for all of that information. Early voting starts tomorrow, and there is a lot to know about getting out to the polls. So, Lauren, what is some information that voters need to know for early voting?
To go to vote early, you have to be in a county and registered to vote, and you have to have a valid form of photo ID, such as a driver's license, a passport, or a voter identification card. On weekdays, most of these early voting locations are open from 8 a.m. till 5 p.m., and on Saturdays, they're open an hour later at 9 a.m. and close at the same time.
And where can people go out to start voting tomorrow?
So, you see, in Barrow County, people can start going to the Board of Elections and Voter Registration Office at 233 East Broad Street in Winder, Georgia. And they can vote from 8 a.m. till 5 p.m. on weekdays and 9 a.m. till 5 p.m. on Saturdays. In Madison County, early voting will be at the County Board of Elections and Registration Office, and that'll be at 20 Albany Avenue in Danielsville, Georgia, also on weekdays from 8 a.m. till 5 p.m. and Saturdays from 9 a.m. till 5 p.m. In Oconee, the Oconee County early elections will be held at the Oconee County Administrative Building in Watkinsville, which is 7635 Macon Highway, and that'll also be weekdays from 8 a.m. till 5 p.m. and Saturdays from 9 a.m. till 5 p.m. Things get a little bit different though when you go to Jackson County, and voting will be held at the election office in Jefferson at 441 Gordon Street. But the weekdays and Saturdays will have the same time to vote from 9 a.m. till 5 p.m. In Athens-Clarke County, you can also have a little bit of a different voting experience with voting taking place at the Athens-Clarke County election office in downtown Athens on weekdays from 8 a.m. till 5 p.m. and Saturdays from 9 a.m. till 5 p.m. But you can also go and vote in 2 different places on specific dates, which is on Saturday the 25th from 9 a.m. till 4 p.m. and the 27th through the 31st from 8 a.m. till 5 p.m. at the Athens Regional Library or the Athens-Clarke County Tennis Center to cast your vote early. So now remember, early voting starts tomorrow and it goes until Halloween, so happy voting, and back to you, Zach.
Thank you, Lauren. After the break, how a community garden will make a difference in the inner East Athens neighborhood.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
I think I finally found.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Mason.
Hey, Mason.
Got a new house. It's looking pretty cool so far.
A place that I call home.
I'm teaching Louise how to cook some lasagna.
It only takes a spark to make a fire start.
Thank you.
Study, please.
I think I finally found a place to make my own. A place that I call home. This place that I call home.
Your home before sunrise. On top of the house, the kids, and our future. The smell of your cooking is our alarm clock. My Shiro's day is never done. So let's start saving a little more now so we can feel prepared for retirement. A free 3-minute online chat can give us the personalized tips we need so we can live our lives to the fullest. Visit aceyourretirement.org.
Local groups mobilized Sunday to clean up a community garden in East Athens. And we have our own Grady Newsource reporter Sophia Stafford live at that site right now. Sophia, can you tell us more about where you are?
I'm in the Nellie V Community Garden in historic Triangle Plaza. If you came here yesterday, you would have seen weeds up to about here, but volunteers came in, cleared all that out, started putting down bricks to line out paths, mark out plots of soil where crops, produce, flowers are going to grow. And the organizers are hoping that by revitalizing this space, they can revitalize the community.
A small plot of land in East Athens was buzzing with community volunteers and activists on Sunday. Local business owner Rashi Malcolm brought in many of these people through the nonprofit she founded, Farm to Neighborhood. Malcolm says Inner East Athens is a unique community with many children and older people as well. She wants to improve feelings of safety for these populations through building this space.
People over here, period, want to be able to walk around and do the same things that other people do in their communities without having to have any fear or any worry about their safety.
Malcolm says another goal of the garden is to prevent gentrification.
This encourages not only neighborhood pride, right, but also these people from feeling like the community is an easy target to buy up and move out.
Volunteer Elle Lewis worries the garden won't be enough because these issues are already happening.
I think that I'm probably less excited at the moment just because despite the existence of the garden, we're also dealing with a lot of gentrification.
In addition to cleaning up and improving Triangle Plaza, volunteers also hope the garden will give more options for food distribution in the community. Farm to Neighborhood will plant produce, herbs, and flowers in the garden and encourages community members to pitch in. Reporting for Grady Newsource, I'm Sophia Stafford.
Planting hasn't officially started yet, but there's already some tomato plants here, and behind me you can see local Georgia flowers like sun opener and woodland aster. and I'm able to stand here because the garden is open and free to the community right now. That's all I have for you today. Back to you in the studio, Zach.
Thank you very much, Sophia. Governor Kemp announced that Representative Mandy Ballinger passed away this weekend. In a statement on Instagram, Kemp called the 50-year-old Ballinger a passionate leader who worked as an advocate for juvenile justice and against domestic violence. Some people say they can't start their day without it, but for Americans, that morning cup of joe is getting pricier. Grady Newsource reporter Catherine Young takes a look at why coffee in the U.S. is increasing in cost.
I think it's definitely increased, and I think it's just going to keep going up.
A recent study shows the cost of ground roast coffee hit a record high, $8.41 per pound, a 33% increase in comparison to prices last year. The price jump is directly impacting coffee retailers and consumers.
I've been finding alternative spots for coffee. I'm also supporting, I guess, more local coffee shops if I'm going to end up paying more.
Leonardo Lombardini, a professor of horticulture, says coffee is a stimulant used to stay alert and function.
So you definitely get a cup in the morning. By the time you get to work or whatever to class, you should be alert and ready to roll.
But that cup of coffee is pricier due to the recent tariffs imposed by the Trump administration.
1 pound of coffee from Trader Joe's went up for $4 from last year. It's a significant increase in cost for the consumers. And that was pretty much caused by the tariffs, because some countries have been applied like a 50% tariffs, for example, Brazil, on everything that's imported.
According to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, Brazil is the biggest producer of coffee globally. Professor Lombardini says the increased cost of coffee is hopefully at a temporary high.
They also said that if this tariff situation goes away, then they will adjust their prices back.
I'm Catherine Young with Grady Newsource.
Vernon Jones, a former Democratic state representative, announced his bid for Secretary of State. Jones is running as a Republican candidate this time, noting his alliance with President Donald Trump in his campaign press release. Jones joins 5 other Republican candidates in the 2026 Georgia Secretary of State race. And after the break, Newsource reporter Rebecca Schillinger gives you a look at the 5-day forecast and tells us why fall colors are not as vibrant this year.
I help Santiago in many different ways, like all fathers do, because he always wanted to go to college.
I felt a little embarrassed to come back to school, but eventually, once I came here, I knew that it's for a bigger goal.
He was very dedicated, hardworking. He connected with his teachers. He connected with other students. That was one of the key reasons why he was able to keep forging ahead.
It was amazing to see him graduate. This was one thing that meant so much to him, and of course, it meant so much to us too.
With the help of my father and having my son, that was all the motivation that I needed. That support is everything.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
I think I finally found.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Mason.
Hey, Mason.
Got a new house. It's looking pretty cool so far.
A place that I call home.
I'm teaching Louise how to cook some lasagna.
It only takes a spark to make a fire start.
The Dutch. Thank you.
Study, please.
I think I finally found a place to make my own. A place that I call home. This place that I call home.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Schillinger with your 5-day weather forecast. We're starting off strong today with a low of 52 and a high of 79. Temperatures remain pretty consistent throughout the week. All of our lows are in the mid or to low 50s, and all of our highs are in the high 70s to mid 80s. We remain consistently sunny throughout the week until we get to Friday. We get a little bit of clouds, but nothing to worry about. And you can expect chilly mornings throughout the week, so you might want to pack a light jacket or a light sweater. And you may have noticed there is no rain throughout the entire week because temperatures remain hot, and you may ask yourself, where's the fall colors? Much of Georgia is experiencing abnormally dry to moderate droughts. The lack of rain has an impact on fall colors we all love in October. Have you looked around and noticed, where are the fall colors? Bright reds, oranges, and yellows not there? There's a reason for this. With little rainfall in September, it is bringing impacts to hardwood species. Little rain is weakening hardwoods, leading to potential premature leaf fall and less coloration.
With the dry conditions, a lot of the leaves really are kind of muted in their color. They don't get as brightly colored because the drought causes the trees to just shut down and drop the leaves faster.
With wet growing seasons, sunny days, and cooler nights, these conditions allow for the best fall colors. The amount of rainfall will also impact fall colors to be at their brightest.
See over there, there's a little bit of color.
September was the third warmest September ever recorded globally, according to the European Center for Medium Range Weather Forecast.
I do expect it to be duller than usual this year. We're going to still see color, especially in some places where the trees have more exposure or they've been watered. And so that is something we can still expect to see. It's just probably not going to be quite as bright as it has been in some other years.
So we may not see as many fall colors, but that does not mean that will stop you from participating in fall festivities. Back to you, Zach.
All right, Rebecca, it better not stop me from participating in fall festivities. Coming up, we'll take a look at UGA's face down between Auburn and Ole Miss, and a friendly fundraising competition.
Be any different. I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding. Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie.
So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
My Shiro doesn't always wear a cape, but she always has time for a hug, a smile, for going the extra mile. My Shiro stretches every dollar, puts in long hours, puts others first. But now it's your time, Mom. When you're ready to retire, we want you to be able to enjoy it. It's time to start saving now. A free 3-minute online chat can give you the personalized tips you need to start boosting your retirement savings today. Visit aceyourretirement.org.
Hi, I'm Laurie Ruby with Your Sports. First, to recap this past weekend's football game, let's take a look at how the Dogs beat the Tigers in a 20-10 win. Auburn was going strong at first with a 10-3 score going into halftime, but as usual, the Dogs were even stronger in the second half, shutting out Auburn completely with 2 touchdowns, including a dive from Gunnar Stockton, which secured a Georgia win. And looking forward to next Saturday, the 9-ranked Dogs will face off the 5-ranked undefeated Ole Miss Rebels. College Game Day will set up their stage on Myers Quad to place their bets on the winner and talk all things college football. And Beat Week starts today, a student and alumni fundraising competition between Georgia and Ole Miss. All the money raised at the events and online goes straight back into the university for things like scholarships, experiential learning, and student well-being.
Beat Week's really a point of pride for the university. It's one day, it's a week that we can all come together to support our institution and our students. That's our biggest reason for Beat Week, is to really rally the Bulldog Nation so we can give back.
Last year, Georgia received 17,000 donations, the highest number ever, and this year they're hoping for the same amount.
Tossing and turning could be doing more damage than you think. A new Yale study reveals just how harmful sleep deprivation is for your brain. Coming up, a UGA professor with 30 years of research shares how to think better, feel better, and protect your health, starting with a good night's sleep.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
You're home before sunrise, on top of the house, the kids, and our future. The smell of your cooking is our alarm clock. My Shiro's day is never done. So let's start saving a little more now so we can feel prepared for retirement. A free 3-minute online chat can give us the personalized tips we need so we can live our lives to the fullest. Visit aceyourretirement.org.
Julie was always a voracious reader. She'd carry 2 novels on an airplane because she'd read one on a 3-4 hour ride. And at some point, I began to notice that she would read a page and couldn't remember what she had just read, and she'd have to go back and read it again.
I don't remember much these days after I read, but less does for me, and I love it.
Hey world, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. All right, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight, both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. When not in your hand trying to text somebody back, because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
A recent study from the Yale School of Medicine cautions people about the risks of prolonged sleep deprivation. Here's an insight about how to think better, feel better, and reduce your risk for sleep-related diseases from a UGA professor who spent 3 decades researching the topic.
And so maybe one way to motivate people is just to say, you know, you're going to feel better each day if you get enough sleep. And then over the long term, that can help your brain health. So you'll think more clearly and you'll feel better. And maybe it might reduce your risk for certain kinds of brain disorders like Alzheimer's or dementia. You can also be more physically active, which can help with that too.
And that's all for our show tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. My name is Zach Pascuzzi, and that was Grady Newsource.
Found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible. She must be a keeper.
You know, a lot of people say, when you're going somewhere, you don't want to look back. But I beg to differ. For her to see her father celebrate his graduation, it's the best feeling in the world. I can't lie and say it was easy. But sometimes you just have to stop everything and take it in. I looked at everything in a different light. I realized it started with me going back and getting my high school diploma.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right because a few hours ago in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign, not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
There is a road laid out for me.
First night here, but Amy seems cool.
Leading down to the river. I am blind, but I need not see.
What do you think?
I know this road is there for me. If I'm really free, take me down to the river and walk.
Well, it looks like we're on the air, live on the air. We thank our viewers again for being with us. We had another challenging day and we turned challenges into opportunities. Thank you for all of you for working so hard and creating some very interesting content, interesting treatment and formats. We again tried the smart board. We did a great live shot. We had this first using a table with two anchors. That was a very interesting look. And it just worked perfect for that story where the two of you were sharing that story, sharing also an expert. And I thought it went very well, just a little bit more looking at each other. There were certain points in which you were sort of looking at your notes to make sure that you knew what to say, but most of the time you did a great job looking at each other, one of you listening to the other while and that you can take a look at it again and see how nice it looked when you were looking at each other. It was very interesting, a different look, and I think we should do that more often when we have two people who are reporting on a similar story. And I thought it worked well, especially for seemingly divisive issue. The way you guys handled it brought some very interesting information that I think few people have heard about, why we have those two holidays. It wasn't an easy story to do, but I think it worked out where you had two distinct stories about those two holidays. And Zach, you did a great job. You're a very confident anchor. You had the right tone, intonation. Most of the times, just in the pre-show tease, you were a little too serious about all the stories. But when you opened the show, you smiled a little bit and then went into a serious tone, which I liked very much. I love the way you even reacted at one point to Becca, what she was saying. That was excellent. Anchors should do more of that, really reacting to, where possible, of course, to what the live reporters or anchors are saying. It really shows a lot of chemistry, and I really like that reaction. That was very well done. And you did a very nice package. You did double duty on a very complex issue, the top issue in the world today. And even local news, that was their top issue. They carried Trump's speech live from start to finish. Wasn't an easy story to put together, and I think you did very well. It was very, very well done, because we had to put a lot of thought into giving both sides equal time and being fair and balanced, and that wasn't easy. And I thought, Mickey, thank you for making that your top story. And I wanted to thank Derek, because he started us off, our digital producer, Derek, who started us off this morning by drawing our attention to this story and how important it was. And so it all was a wonderful team effort where we decided that this was the way we're going to go. Plus we had less MMJs, we had 2 stories fall through, so we needed extra content, and you ended up having to float some stories. We ended up having a little bit more content that we needed, and of course that was very, very helpful to know that we had a little bit of a cushion, because sometimes not all stories, we're not able to get all stories. Thank you, Jordan, for giving us your digital MMJ, but you also gave us this interesting soundbite with an expert who gave us some good information, and we thank you for that as well. I just thought we had, again, very, very strong content. A question to Abby about those photos. Just where did you guys, Izzy, you had a few photos. Did you get those on MGN? Where were those photos? CNN Newsource? Good, good. Just wanted to make sure that we didn't have copyrighted stuff. I always ask about photos. But yeah, especially Izzy, your photos were very colorful and really added a lot to the story. And Abby was struggling, but she managed to get some B-roll as well. Really, really happy with that. My thanks to Lauren, who was supposed to go and get solutions journalism sound bites today and work on solutions journalism, but we thank you for staying and helping us with something we badly needed today to cover the elections and telling people where they could vote. You did a great job with the smart board. It didn't cooperate at one point, and you were very, you just kind of had fun with it and just kind of said, well, had that expression. But I thought it went very well, and I thought it was important for people to know, for us to remind them that it was early voting. And we have, Zach, do you think you'll be able to do the Public Service Commissioner? That is the most important, actually, Georgia-wide race. Because Jordan, you're producing, so I told Jordan that would probably be her election story, because as a producer, she's looking for something to add and important, and I think it will be good to do that. There's another way we could go with that, and if you don't feel confident, because that will take an expert, do you feel confident going and catching the first day of voting? Early voting, and you can go in Athens and all the surrounding counties and just kind of get a slice of life, how the early election, just to cover that first day. Jordan, what do you think, covering the first day of early voting, for him to go tomorrow and capture just moments from the early voting, and maybe in the morning you call the election offices and get turnout, what was the turnout in early voting, and you can kind of put together a package that brings together all the first moments of voting as early voting begins tomorrow. On Wednesday we have that, and you can update and have the fresh information on what are, how many people voted on the first day of early voting. Something like that, or did you have any other ideas that you had?
The slice of life, I think that's fun.
Yeah. Yeah, but we still need to cover, that's a really important, I talked to one political science professor, and she told me that that's like one of the most important races that we will be covering on that day. So we need to sort of introduce the candidates and have an analyst tell us about.
I think somebody here could make a very good source for that story.
So who would like to take on that for, let's say, on Monday, we could have that story, the Public Service Commissioner. You would need a political science expert, introduce the main candidates, and also the significance of that race and what a Public Service Commissioner does. They determine the rates that we pay for electricity, and that's really important, and people care about that. So if we can educate them about the candidates, that would be a good service for our counties here. So Who would like to take that on? Who's the producer on Monday?
Do we have to travel out to this meeting, or is there somewhere you have to travel to, or is it just picking up the story?
You would have to pick the story. You would have to interview a political science professor who can give us the significance of that race, and you would also have to introduce us to the main candidates. And okay, so look at your possibilities. If you could possibly get a soundbite with the main candidates, I'm not sure if that's feasible, but at least a political science professor, and what the candidates stand for. You could get that from their campaign websites, what they stand for, maybe a website, maybe a graphic with the 3 main points, so that people understand and are educated about the candidates and what they promise to do if they win. So are you MMJ on Monday? Okay, and I don't know who's producing on Monday. So Lauren, you've got your story. Jordan, you've got your story. And looking ahead to Wednesday, because you see that political stories take longer to plan, on Wednesday, who's the producer next Wednesday? Not this Wednesday, but Catherine. So reach out to an MMJ and start planning a week ahead what that aspect of the story would be. We really need to educate people about the choices they have. So think about some interesting, like for example, Jackson County, they have some municipal elections, they have commissioners, mayors, I believe, but they also have a T-Splost also on the ballots. So look at the ballots and decide if you have a specific county. Jackson County is one of the biggest counties, and see where you can go and what you can do. But that'll be very, very good. We've got a good start now, covering the first day, covering the Georgia-wide. That's for every county. People in every county are voting on Public Service Commissioner, really important. And then we have educate people about specific counties. So take a look at the MMJs and which counties they come from. If you have someone from Jackson, that's a possibility. And then all of you pick something, but coordinate with each other so that there's no repetition, so we don't cover one county twice. Oh, wonderful. That's shaping up to be good. Is Sophia here? Is she back? Sophia, we loved it. Yeah, and we loved, how you introduced your package by saying, here the weeds were very high last time. It was just beautiful. That's the way to do it. And the package came together really good, and great close-ups and interesting B-roll. And yeah, just don't sig out and do a donut, but it was okay. Yeah. Catherine, your package came together very well as well. Interesting cutaways and B-roll, and there was just one place where, and I'm just nitpicking, where you showed an empty table and we're talking about coffee, but that's just like, the whole package was beautiful, very well done. Becca, great weather package where is Becca? Package came together really good, and great presentation. I could tell you were just natural, you were having fun telling people this beautiful weather, but the leaves, that's another issue. So that came together very well. Laurie, I love the sports also, very well presented. The Beat Week focus also added a different dimension to it. Let me see, did I leave anybody out? I don't think I did. I think, yeah, I told everybody what I thought. Mickey, very well done at your first production, very well done. Any thoughts that you guys have, both you and Derek? First to you and then Derek, what you want to share?
Great show today, guys. Of course, this morning I was just a little wee bit nervous, but we pulled it out. So proud of you guys. Extra shout out, Zach, of course. Not usual that the anchor has to make a difficult topic package that's going to play as soon as we start and has to do everything else. So that was really good on your part. Way to go. You two coming together. I know this morning we were like, wait, what? We pitched the same thing, but it ended up working out because they weren't the exact same. They had dimensions. So that was really good. Great shout out to Lauren. I know you probably felt like you were dragging on, like, okay, this is the 5th slide, but I promise you it didn't look like that. It was actually very helpful information. If they are watching us specifically for that kind of information, it was very clear and easy to follow. And of course, Sophia and Catherine, great packages. You guys came in knowing what you were going to deliver. I appreciate that. And then Jordan, even of course, not even knowing this morning if you were going to get in the pitch meeting. No, I'm just kidding. But you did a great job getting your source together, and thank you for being my E-block. And then shout out my other two helping me get some readers in, because y'all know my brain was everywhere. So thank y'all for, still contributing to the team, because we all have a moment where a story falls through or a source doesn't come through. So as long as we're adding to the team effort, I still think it's just as important.
And I wanted to thank Josh, the digital creator today. Going into today, I really didn't know what to expect from digital producer, but working with Josh, I feel like we were able to get a lot of stuff out there, and I'm really proud of the work that we put through. And another thank you to Jordan for having a package, which I believe we just uploaded to Instagram. Another thing up there. So yeah, I just want to thank everyone again for their hard work today, and yeah.
And thank you too. And anybody else would like to? Yes, Tara.
This is more of an announcement, but if we're kind of at the end. So as you guys know, I'm the digital producer for the Sojo show. So if I could get a digital content person to work with me so we can kind of start brainstorming and then get stuff out before the Sojo show, that would be really cool. So if anyone's interested in doing the digital content and working with me, just message me on Slack, and so then I can let Professor V know.
Yeah, and in the last moments, I'd like to remind you about the deadline for your script. The Sojo script deadline is October 29th, and I know that you still need to work on it, and one team, our final team, is yet to gather their thoughts and send me their pitch. So maybe you guys, you could pick October 27th for a person to let one of you work on the script. If you wanted to do that, put a name or put your county on October 27th in the schedule. Well, you can't do this. Just Slack me. I'll do it because, yeah, you don't have access. Yeah. So if so, I can put your name. I could put Oconee County on October 27th to have your script ready. No, to work on your script. I'm sorry, so that you have it ready. Excuse me, on the 29th. Does that seem fair? Okay. And then October 20th and 22nd, the other counties, 2 people per week, because we can't afford to have more than 2 people off the schedule. So does that make sense? Just Slack me which week you would like to, or if you want to tell me now which week you would like to. So I have Oconee on the 27th for somebody to work on the script. And then I have 2 more dates, October 20th for 2 people and October 22nd. Jackson 22nd.
I'm going to do the script writing.
So you're going to write the script, okay? And those are the dates are for the script, yeah.
Yes.
And we have October 27th, we have Oconee. And what about the rest of you? When October 20th and October 22nd? Yes. Barrett 22nd. And then I have October 20th, the rest, Madison and Athens, Clark County.
Madison can do the 22nd too.
Well, we already have Barrow and Jackson.
We'll do the 20th then.
Yeah.
That's fine, we'll do the 20th.
So Madison and Athens are on the 20th. I'll put it on the schedule. So you will have one person designated to take the full day to write the script, which will be due to me on October 29th. So it gives you some time to write the script. And I'll put that in the schedule. Yeah, and that's all I had for you guys. Laurie, do you have any thoughts about the Sojo show? Anything?
Just make sure you're recording your process. We're taking pictures and videos so that we have stuff to use when we're putting together Q&As and stuff like that. Yeah.
Sounds wonderful. Well, guys, I'll let you go 10 minutes early if you don't have anything else you'd like to share. Everybody? Great job.